G'day guys, welcome back to the last video before round 10 kicks off. It's going to be a bit of a mixed bag here. We've gone through our sells, holds, buys, all that sort of jazz. This one's going to be more focused on my team, so I'll be talking about my trades this week. I've got 3 locked in. I'll be talking about my loop options. I've got Rob Toya and Hugo Savala to loop, so really good this week. I'll go through my buy planner again. I did talk about that in another video that was about 25 minutes long, but I'm going to do it specific to this week's trades and stuff like that and what you should be looking out for. So yeah, that's about it. I'll kick off. Really disappointing week last week. Obviously, score-wise, it's not too bad, but I was in the top 5,000 just before that and slipped about 1,800 ranks, so not ideal. Three back-to-back 1,000s, but it's been really high score in the last couple of weeks. I do expect that to drop off significantly this week. No one's really talked about it, but we obviously had our crackdown with the sin bins and stuff across like round 7, 8 and stuff. Round 9 was Magic round, so all teams playing at Suncorp. Suncorp is a really good surface, even with all those games. Heaps of day games. I just think scores were bound to kick off the last couple of weeks, so don't expect that when you're bringing in guns. Like obviously your Fletcher Sharps, Jacob Carraz, Bo Fermors have had monster scores recently. Just be mindful you're buying them off the back of their big scores, and they're probably not likely to replicate any of those. But it's nothing terribly noteworthy. But I just wanted to make mention of it, that I think it will be a low round this week. 1,049 last week. Average in the top 1,000 was 1,130. As soon as round 10 kicks off, we'll sort of see what trades people are making. Last week obviously had heaps of trade outs, heaps of trade ins that was super popular. This week, I expect it to be more of a mixed bag. I think the trade outs will be like 80% Mamazelis and stuff like that, but the trade ins, there's heaps of options. I think it's a good week to grab 2 keepers, which I have done. I've gone Jacob Preston, was hoping to keep him, but out for 4 weeks, and that's a no-brainer. So here's a straight swap for Dylan Lucas. I didn't necessarily need an edge. It wasn't always going to be a straight swap like that, but just in my round 12, round 15 by planning, an edge / center was really, really good for me. So I got him in. Mamazelis out. I haven't seen word of how long he's out for yet. I think ideally it's worth waiting. So I've structured that to go to Tallis Duncan, because Tallis Duncan could also move position in the hour before kickoff. So that's an easy one. So hopefully we get word on Mamazelis, and that one I'm more than happy to reverse if I need to. But it's locked in for now anyway, and I'm pretty confident, and I would like to go ahead with that trade. I'm a lot higher on Tallis Duncan than a lot of people are. Haven't seen much about him elsewhere. But really high on him. He's got at least 10 points of value if he stays in that second row, and almost like 18, 19 points of value. So I'm happy enough. I think he'll stay in that role, and hopefully everything works out. Reece Walsh, about 3 weeks overdue. He's managed to stay in my team as a good looping option, just with some of the midweek results. He's a chance to stay this week. I'll go through my looping options for this week in a sec, but he's out for Scotty Drinkwater at the moment. I'll go over my buy planner. I don't necessarily need a round 12 winger fullback, so I'm happy to bring in Scott Drinkwater. I think his upside is better than Fletcher Sharps. He's priced about the same. I think Scotty Drinkwater could reach a 60 average, just based on the goal kicking that he hasn't had in previous years when he's been a 50-point scorer. And the kicking game looked really strong last week, and I expect that to continue. So I think he averages anywhere between 55 to 60. That's on the higher side of things. Like I know a lot of people expect him to average about 50, and that's fine. But for me, he has more upside than Fletcher Sharp, and I'm happy to keep. And I don't need a round 12 cover at this stage, so I'm happy to lock in Drinkwater. Going into my looping options, there's 8. It's a bit overwhelming, but it's because I'll go to round 10 here. It's because I have 3 Eels players playing tonight that I am looping anyway. Like they're my 3 worst options, and they all just happen to be on the same team, and they all just happen to be playing in the first game. But it actually works out well that they're playing tonight. It means I can loop exactly how I want to, which is good. So Rob Toya there. He's for Kartonga and Tamale. So that's all dependent on Kartonga's score. And then it gets a bit more complicated from there. So If I really like Iongi's score, if he gets a 50 plus, then I'll consider reversing a Reece Walsh to Drinkwater. And then ideally Riley Smith plays well. I'm happy to play Tallis Duncan over Riley Smith at this stage with the option to loop Smith. I think Timmy Duncan... I'm in NBA season, so it was a corker game today. Tallis Duncan, I think his floor is a bit higher than Riley Smith. If he stays in that edge, I think he'll play 80. I think worst case is like a 35, whereas Riley Smith could easily pump out a 25. So happy to loop him. I won't go too much in depth in this because there's 8 options and a lot of it is complicated, but you can pause if you are interested in my team dynamic. It doesn't apply to anyone else's team, so I don't think it's worth talking about too much, but this is more for me to look at during the round so I don't get confused like after tonight's game. There is 4 scenarios where I have the option to reverse a Walsh to Drinkwater, which is what I talked about. Whether I do it or not is entirely up to me. A 50 is just a placeholder for a good score. A 20 is just a placeholder for a bad score. Obviously, they can be anywhere within that or outside that. But yeah, like if it only gets a 50 plus, I have the option to reverse a Walsh to Drinkwater. Whether I do is another question because Drinkwater can obviously score that himself. But yeah, it would just mean it's less of a beneficial trade. So I have that option. So yeah, that's just how I'll go into the round. Really happy that I'll know a lot of my team's results this round, and I'm not committed to any this game tonight, and I'm not committed to any of them, which is good. So, yeah, really happy to have 2 loopers this week. I would assume a lot of people have a couple, having a lot of Roosters in their team this year. But yeah, hopefully you guys are all over your looping options, and you know how that works. Oh, wrong tab. Let's go here. So yeah, we'll go to the buy planner now. Like I said, I've gone over this before, so I won't go into too much depth. I've got my current team here. This is my current 21. I've got long-term sentiment here of what I want to do with them. Most of them are pretty easy. Maybes are like a Dylan Egan. If he averages 50 plus for a long term, then I'll hold him. If not, then he's easy gone. Cleary, Haas, maybes. I'll see what I want to do with them around Origin time. And then Yo, Preston, Munster, Walsh, Mamazelis, all sells. I've got 3 pretty clear-cut trades this week, like trade-out options, which made my life easy. So Preston's out, Reece Walsh has to go, Mamazelis out. So yeah, if not, I was going to think about a Horsburgh or Munster, but I can wait a week now for them. So my current team's buy schedule, so that's before any trades this week. I can see how many players I've got in each round, which is good. So that's this little reference point here. Green means they're playing. Yellow means maybe. So like Horsburgh and Preston. This was before the Preston injury news. So I had him as a maybe for Origin. Obviously, he would be red now, but I haven't adjusted it because he's out of my team anyway. And then 9 out. So yeah, obviously round 12, I'm a lot more sorted, even before trades. Round 15 and round 18, not so much, but you'll see how that improves after my trades, and I've got an easy trade plan to improve them anyway. So yeah, that would just be my current team. Not too many issues. I planned well for round 12, so not concerned there. Just below it, I've got what needs I have. So by each round, I can see what positions I will need to trade in for. That will be evident in my trades to come. So yeah, that's just how I do it. I think everyone has a different buy planning thing. Just do whatever works for you. You don't have to copy this, obviously. You're more than welcome to, but this is just what works for me. I'm sure a lot of people have a lot nicer ones out there, but yeah, just do what works for yourself. Then I've got my trade plans. So up here, I've got how many trades I'm going to use each round and how many trades I had at the start of the round. I haven't filled that in past this round because obviously everything changes on the fly with injuries, suspensions, shit scores, players peaking, stuff like that. So I just do that round by round. Going into the round, like I mentioned, I had 5 clear-cut trade options. They got more clear-cut after the judiciary. I ended up going with 3 of those guys out in Mamazelis, Preston and Horsburgh. Then Munster and Horse will be next week. They're on the trading block next week, depending on how things go this round. Isaiah Yo, he has a bye next round and obviously plays Origin. So he can probably go next week. I don't plan on holding him during the bye periods. Here I've got like all teams schedule. Pink or purple, however you look at it, means it's a major bye they're missing. Red just means a minor bye. So I've got teams playing round 12 and then teams playing round 12 and 15. Yeah, you can see the Panthers missed 12, 15 and 18. 11, 15 and 18. So Yo's bye schedule isn't actually shocking. He's going to miss round 11, round 12, backing up in round 13, and then they had the buys at 15 and 18 anyway, so you're not actually missing too much over him, but it's something I'm considering for next week anyway. Horse, he's pretty much peaked. I don't think he's a clear-cut option as a long-term keeper. Obviously, you've got your Yos, Mays, Haas as your main three, but then there's about 10 other fringe guys within that 50 to 55 range. So yeah, if he makes Origin, I'm happy to get rid of him next week as well. And then for round 12, if I end up getting a Fletcher Sharp or someone like that, I can trade one of Iongi or Tamale before round 12, even though they play. So that's good to note. We'll get into that in a sec as well. But yeah, so for round 12, I was looking at around 12 and 15 mid. So like your Fanua Blakes, Cam McInnes's, Max Kings. But I think I mentioned in a previous video, I think there's a lot of value in them towards that round 12 or 11 mark where they should drop in price a little bit because all of them seem just a tad overpriced at the moment. No issues getting them, but for my team structure, it worked better to get them next week or the week after. Dylan Lucas, he's come in. Tallis Duncan, he's come in. Scotty Drinkwater, he's come in. Fletcher Sharp is who I was considering over a Scotty Drinkwater. His buy schedule is slightly better, playing round 12 and 15. But I do have Marzu as well, and I didn't want to be committed with two Knights outside backs in round 18, especially with Dylan Lucas coming in. So having Drinkwater, who misses round 12 and plays round 15 and 18, just worked better for me. So that's why I've gone for him, and I think his upside is a lot stronger, and their price very similar. King Tongia was one I was considering over Tallis Duncan if I needed to reach that price point, but I've got 98k in the bank or something after my trades, and I can do the two ideal keepers I want anyway, so didn't need to bring him in the end. I was a bit concerned about him. I still am, so I'm glad to miss the boat on him. If he keeps pumping out 50s, I could probably get him in at some stage, but no clear plans at the moment. Then over the next couple of weeks, I'll look to address my round 12, 15 mids. So yeah, I'll get one or two of these blokes either over the next 2 weeks, and then Fletcher Sharp's in there if I were to trade out an Iongi or Tamale. And then after round 12, it's way too far ahead to look at the moment. But yeah, Iongi or Tamale will definitely be going, probably both, and maybe Riley Smith for a round 15/18 hooker. I don't know who there is at the moment, but yeah, I'll have a look at that down the track. So yeah, my buy schedule after round 10 trades. So this is just this schedule with my current team versus after my 3 trades. So yeah, as you can see, Reece Walsh to Scotty Drinkwater, Preston to Lucas, and Mamazelis to Duncan. So I've just slotted them in. I slotted them in as a straight swap and then tweak it as I need to. Like obviously, if I had Mamazelis in my hooker spot, I couldn't put Tallis Duncan there, so I just tweaked it as I need to, and I've tweaked it so all my reds or yellows are more towards the bottom as I see fit. So obviously in round 12, I've got 8 guys who are definitely not playing, and Tallis Duncan, I don't have a replacement for him at the moment. So yeah, they're all down the bottom, and Tallis Duncan slotted in where he could. Horsburgh's yellow because he could play Origin, and I think he will play Origin. He's like an 80-90% chance. So yeah, as you can see, I need 2 mids for round 12, which is why I'm looking at getting some of these guys in. But everything else is sorted. You can see even without Fletcher Sharp, like going Scotty Drinkwater over him, I still have Marzu, Tamale, and Iongi who can play in the winger fullback. I also have Garrick who can slot in there if there were an injury, and then Lucas can come down, and then I can bring in an edge or something. So if any injury in the back line or edge goes down, I can tweak it as I need and only need to bring in one player, which is good. But yeah, ideally no one gets injured before then, and then I can have a full 13, which would be great. So yeah, that was like, I've done that for all the rounds. I won't go into it in too much depth because this is my team, not anyone else's. You can pause it as you need, obviously. Then down here, it's the same section as below. So how many people are playing, how many are maybes on like Origin commitment or backing up from Origin, and then how many just are not playing. Either they're playing Origin or they have a bye. So yeah, and then the number in the brackets is the plus or minus players versus my current team in this one before trades. So yeah, as you can see, round 12, I get one extra player definitely playing, barring injuries, obviously, versus minus one player who was a maybe, and that was Preston, I believe. So yeah, I didn't really focus on round 12 in this week's trades. I brought in two guys in Tallis Duncan and Scotty Drinkwater who don't play round 12. But that's because that's my strongest of the major buy rounds at the moment. And I know that I can fix that over the next coming weeks because I have 4 or 5 guys I'm looking to trade out and only need 2 of them. So yeah, super well prepared for round 12, which is good. Not concerned about that in the slightest. Round 13, I've got 11 players playing, so 1 extra after those trades. And then 2 guys who are positional backup who are already maxed out in that position. So obviously you want to get 13 players that week instead of 17. So you have no interchange bench. So I've got Iongi and Kartonga down there who just do not fit into the team at all. Obviously I've maxed out in winger fullbacks for Iongi, and then Kartonga is maxed out in edge and second row as well. There's heaps of yellows just because they're all backing up from Origin. I would assume at least 2 of them will play to make sure I have a full team. Usually like 80% of players play, just depending on what their minutes are going to be looking like. But yeah, not concerned about that minor buy round at all. Even helps in round 14, not that that matters in the slightest. But round 15 is where you can see it really helped my team after those 3 trades. So all 3 guys are playing round 15. I lose 2 maybes, which was Preston and Mamazelis, because I had him as a yellow as he might be coming back around that stage. So yeah, get 3 clear-cut guys who are playing. I lose 2 maybes, like I said, and then I just lose 1 who wasn't playing. So that, like 1 less player who isn't playing, which is good. So you want to see the negatives in the yellow and red, and you want to see the positives in the green, obviously, which is worked out in every round for me so far. So it just shows the importance of buy planning. Again, I've also got like no interchange up here just for a reference point for me because it can get a little bit confusing. Obviously, I'm all over it now, but it was just what I had previously. Again, so that round 16, backing up from Origin, I've got 7 players again, but I've got 12 clear cuts who aren't playing Origin who are definitely going to play, which is good. So all set there. Round 18, my trades helped me by 1, which is good. 1 less maybe. So yeah, obviously round 18 is the least of my concerns versus round 12 and 15 at the moment, but I'm in a pretty good position after those trades where I have over half a team already and plenty of trades to use because I've got 22 left. So that's about it on the trade side of things. Then the last little point I have here is just the dream teams for major buy rounds. So this is pretty much the best players in each position that are playing. There is a couple of guys who are fringe Origin players, like Corey Horsburgh, James Tedesco, and who's the third one? There was a third one. Jacob Carraz. So yeah, I just included them in this list because I've also listed 8 interchange guys as well, so they can easily be swapped out. So yeah, pretty much the top 3 or 2 in each position, or just 1 hooker. And then just the best list of reserves as well. So if you have heaps of these guys, that's awesome. If they're marked in blue, it means they're playing round 15 as well. If they're marked in brown, it means they're not playing round 15. So yeah, you want to have a good bunch of this mix. There's other guys as well that aren't on this list that are averaging like 45, 50 plus as well. It's just I only listed 21. Round 12, after going through it, round 12 is a lot more skint than round 15 is in terms of like keepers that are playing. This round 15 list honestly could have been 35, 40 players long. There were heaps of guys averaging 50, 52, 53 that were not on this list, which shows how strong it is. Then I've got my team, my current team after the 3 trades. Obviously, red still means they're not playing. Yellow means they didn't make this list as the ideal keepers that are playing in that round. So I've got 6 of them: Iongi, Tamale, Toya, Savala, Kartonga, and Riley Smith. But they're all going to do a serviceable job. It's just they're not keepers. Then I've got 6 guys that are keepers and made the top 13 to 21 players that you want to have in that round. So I've got Aaron Clark, Horsburgh, Dylan Lucas, Nico Hines, Garrick, and Marzu. So yeah, they're all keepers or fringe keepers. So they happen to have 6. Ideally, I'll get a couple more, which I will. Like I said, I'll be trading Horsburgh and Yo to Max King and Fanua Blake, or along those lines, maybe a Tarpany. So I'll probably have 8 of the ideal 13, and then a few cashies as well. So yeah, I'm in a really strong position. Hopefully I fly through the ranks there, but we'll see. A lot of people are prepped and all their Knights players and stuff like that. So yeah, I assume most people are in a good boat for round 12, but hopefully they have less trades than I do, which is good. Then I've done the same for round 15. So heaps more names on this. Again, there's Origin guys, like your Jacob Carrazes, Jacob Prestons. I've just put on the list because there's so many names that you can afford to have them on this list and then just replace them with one of these guys if they do make Origin. So I've got 6 of those players, those ideal players playing again. 3 cashies, and then not playing is not 12. 2, it's 12. Yeah. So yeah, I'm in a pretty decent spot. 22 trades left. Probably make 2 next week, maybe 2 the week after. So I'll have 18 trades or so going into the bye rounds. In a really good spot for those rounds. Hopefully that rank starts to drop to maybe top 2, 3,000 after round 12, but we'll see. I've got a pretty strong team this week. I'm pretty happy with it. Few maybes. We'll see how we go after tonight. Hopefully these guys all pump out 50 plus, and I have some harsh decisions to make. I'd rather be in that boat than them all score 20. So yeah, happy with my team going into this round. Don't really know who I'm going to captain. I have had the worst luck in the world captaining. I've mentioned this on 3 videos a week. 8 out of the 9 rounds, I've captained the worst option out of Haas, May, or Cleary. And the other round, I picked the second worst. So I'm yet to captain the best player in my team after 9 rounds. I think I'm going to go with Haas. I'm not concerned by May's 68 by any means. I just think he will only play 80 minutes as long as they're close games. And I don't really see this game being close. I think the Tigers are out to $6 to win. So if the Storm are up 20 with 20 to go, I'm assuming Benji just pulls May. That's the only real logic to it. Broncos versus the Bunnies, so that could be a blowout as well. But we've seen Haas play longer minutes recently, especially even if it's a 20-point game. So we'll see there. He could do a job on the Bunnies as well. Cleary is another option, obviously. He has the Cows. They're desperate to win. I just think his floor is a lot lower, and I don't really want to take that risk when I can't get them right any week. So it's probably between Haas and Cleary, but I don't know. I think most people will be going with May again, but I think I'll be going against the pack. Yeah, it is what it is. If I get it right 1 week, that would be great. But yeah, hopefully for a good round for everyone. Let me know if you have any trade questions in the comments. Otherwise, yeah, good luck this round. See ya.